said it before and I'll say it again. Disney is trash. I've said that many times over my lifetime. Before, when I was more of an edgy teen, I said it because Disney was a fucking corpo and everything they did was watered down corpo crap designed to con families into giving them money and maximize their profits. Fair enough. Still corpo crap. Now, it seems that Disney doesn't actually care about their profit margins and have decided instead to go a different route. The route of propping up mediocre executives, mediocre actors, mediocre writers, and mediocre properties, and attacking fan bases and catering to a bunch of legitimately crazy window lickers on Twitter whose entire identities and personalities revolve around their sex organs, skin color, and who they fuck or don't fuck. Keep in mind, I use the term personalities very loosely here. These people don't actually have personalities or even any redeeming traits that I've seen. I also use the term people loosely in this context. Yes, Disney was always a trash corpo entity, but now that trash is on fire and the blaze has intensified significantly in the last few months. Just in the last week or so, Disney has actively gone on the warpath against many of the very people that might consider giving them their money. Whether that's preemptively calling fans racist a week before their craptacular Obi-Wan Kenobi show dropped, doubling down on that narrative after they dropped the first 2 episodes with some, honestly, very suspect DMs, or calling fans racist yet again, and throwing around accusations of review bombing for their newest Marvel show. Nothing can stop the trash fire that is Disney from willfully throwing itself into the snake pit that is the woke cult, and fully embracing the serpents of legitimate racism, hypocrisy, outright lies, and denial of reality, i.e. insanity, that the cult represents. With Obi-Wan Kenobi, Disney seems hell-bent on going back to the days of yore in 2017, when The Last Jedi received a ton of backlash from fans for its canon-breaking narrative, dog-shit treatment of legacy characters, nonsensical storyline, and even the shit treatment of one of the most interesting characters from the previous entry, Finn, by turning him into a comedic sidekick and a glorified space janitor. Then, rather than paying attention to what fans were angry about, Disney decided to take the path of least responsibility and call fans racist and sexist and make claims that actors were bullied off the internet by racist, toxic Star Wars fans. Which is the exact tactic they're using now with the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Even though fans have had the exact same complaints about this show that they had about The Last Jedi. Lore breaking, shit treatment of legacy characters, nonsensical stories, crap acting. Nope. It's not the writing or acting that's bad, you're just a bigot and don't like Reva. Who, the actual fuck, said a single thing about Reva? Aside from the chick playing her Moses Ingram is a terrible actress and that the show is called Obi-Wan Kenobi, yet seems strangely focused on Reva, because we all know that Reva is the real hero of this tale. Just yesterday we had amazing articles like this one from the Direct, Drop, proclaiming that Disney Plus's new Miss Marvel TV show is getting review bombed. Now, the spin on this when it was appearing on Twitter was that it was all toxic fans. If you go into this article though, and I don't want to call it reasonable because it's not, it's basically stating that the negative reviews are happening for no reason at all. They state this in the beginning of this piece, and right after a half dozen screenshots of some of the negative reviews, some of which could be said to be actually reasonable, and some that could even be called woke when referring to the India-Pakistan situation. Not only that, but the authors of these articles overlook one glaring discrepancy in their narrative. Something that fucktards like this tend to overlook every time when they speak of review bombing. They never, ever, talk about the positive review bombings which often happen with these dumbass shows and movies when the mainstream window lickers push the review bomb narrative. This article even has a screenshot of the IMDb scores they're talking about, and you can clearly see that the ultra-positive 10 out of 10 scores double the negative 1 out of 10 scores. But, toxic fans are hate-bombing Miss Marvel because it's led by a Pakistani girl. Give me a fucking break. However, these 2 stories were not what I actually wanted to talk about today. They were merely examples of how garbage Disney actually is. What I want to talk about today is a particularly mediocre actor whom Disney spent months propping up just based on his race. That actor being Simu Liu. Best known these days, depending on who you ask, as either a stock photo model or as Shang-Chi. Personally, I prefer to think of him as an over-glorified asshole. It seems that, at a recent convention he attended, Simu Liu had something to say about how the latest Spider-Man film, No Way Home, soundly and thoroughly beat out the box office take for his mediocre magical kung fu film. Now this article, which is a blurb, wants to play it up like Simu was joking around and having a good time. If I want to be fair and reasonable and not let my legitimate feelings of "fuck this guy" control my reactions, I could see that. However, the remark that he made about the film and the reasons for its success fell a little too close to the commentary that so many of the mainstream garbage people were voicing after the movie dropped. How the film coasted to box office success on its nostalgia bait, which is something they were also saying about the success of the previous month's Ghostbusters Afterlife, I might add. Now, that is true up to a certain point. The big draw for No Way Home was indeed the inclusion of past Spider-Men, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. More Maguire than Garfield to be sure, but still. However, that would only lead to the first bump over the opening week. That film had actual staying power well beyond its initial draw for a reason. That reason being good writing and the powerhouse performances of its cast, including Garfield, which was a shocker to a lot of people. Nostalgia can only get butts in seats. After that, it's up to the writing and performances to keep them there and keep people coming in through word of mouth, which is the best advertising. Shang-Chi only had the usual Marvel stans because, "It's Marvel, bruh. I consume all the Marvel products and love them, and wait for the next Marvel product to consume." Which is the type of people that generally Disney's consumer base is at this point. So, Simu's little bitchy fit of a hot take there may have been joking, but coming from the dude who sat there and stepped on and over his elders and betters in the weeks leading up to the release of his shitty little movie, I don't think so. I did a video on this very topic at the beginning of my YouTube foray nearly a year ago now. You can watch that to get my more detailed thoughts on this total chode and maybe get an idea of why I can't stand him. In essence, he's a do-nothing. He's one of those types of people that will stand on the backs of those who came before him, as I said, his betters, and declare himself the winner. He fucking stood there on the legacies of all the Asian actors who came before him and straight-faced said that he was the first real Asian hero in Western films. Proclaimed that everyone who came before him was basically just a joke. A sidekick or a joke for some Western lead to look good. The very moment I read those words, I wanted to slap him in his stupid entitled asshole face. I still do. When, of course, he got backlash to those words, too, he decided to throw down the race card and claim that anyone lambasting him for that shitty take was just racist against Asians. Typical, right? So when he comes out and makes a statement like this, I have to question whether or not a chode like him is actually joking about it or if he's legit salty. Personally, I lean toward the latter. Oh, and Simu Liu defends pedos. Just saying. So to bring this whole thing back around, Disney stood by this piece of shit and even amplified his original hot take about Asian actors to the mainstream media. You know, standing by their Asian actors from hate and all that shit. Same thing they're doing now with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Moses Ingram. Disney is a trash fucking company. Period. As always, these are all just my shitty opinions and nothing more. If you'd like to give me your non-shitty opinions, you're welcome to do so in that handy section down below. While you're down there, I'm sure eventually that's where you'll find Simu Liu's career. If, for unknowable reasons, you like my shitty opinions, you can join my big green horde and get a lot more of them, by crushing those like and subscribe buttons. Like a goblin. If you made it this far into the video, you always have my thanks and a big goblin hug. Watch out though, they're a little ripe. I'll see you all tomorrow for FNT and a fun anime review. See you then. Lates.